Brooks Koepka is officially the most expensive rookie in the history of the PGA Tour. He didn't just decide to come back. He agreed to be audited, penalized, and publicly humbled. For a man whose entire brand is built on being the alpha in every room he enters, the contract he just signed seems like a surrender. He is coming back to the PGA Tour, but it starts with a signature on a document that essentially says, "I was wrong, and I'm willing to pay to be forgiven." We're not talking about a vague apology or a mutual understanding. We're talking about a cold, calculated, and incredibly expensive punishment. But why would a man who already won the money game agree to be treated like a disgraced apprentice? Why would Brooks Koepka, the man who lives to be the predator, agree to become the prey of the tour's legal department? Because whatever you think about Brooks, he isn't a man who makes decisions to be liked. He makes decisions to be relevant. And right now, he's realizing that his relevance has a price tag that even LIV's billions can't cover. Brooks is returning at the Farmers Insurance Open. On the surface, it looks like a standard tournament entry, but underneath, the PGA Tour is performing a controlled burn. To let him back in, they didn't just open the gates. They built a sort of cage. They created the returning member program, a policy so narrow, so specific, and so punitive that it feels less like a rule and more like a trap. It only applies to the kings of golf, the guys who won majors or the players since 2022. In the entire LIV ecosystem, only 4 men are even worthy of this punishment: Brooks, Jon Rahm, Bryson DeChambeau, and Cam Smith. But Brooks is the only one who took the bait. The tour has set a deadline, the 2nd of February 2026. This isn't a precedent. It's a one-time window. They are effectively saying, we will take our stars back, but we will break them first, so the guys who stayed don't revolt. But that still doesn't answer the core mystery. What does Brooks see that we don't? He says it's about family and the direction of the tour. That's the PR answer, the calm answer. But there is nothing calm about a man writing a $5 million check just for the right to go back to work. But this wasn't really a choice, was it? This was an admission of defeat. To understand why this return is so brutal, you have to remember the Brooks who left. In 2022, Brooks Koepka didn't just join LIV for the money. He joined to prove a point. He wanted to show the world that his talent was portable, that he could take the Saudi bag, play 14 times a year in shorts, and still be the baddest man in golf. And for a while, he was right. In 2023, he won the PGA Championship. He became the first LIV golfer to win a major. That moment was the ultimate proof of ego. He stood on the green with the Wanamaker Trophy, effectively saying to the PGA, "I have the money, and I still have the trophies. I don't need your history. I am the history." He was the proof of concept. If Brooks could stay elite while playing in the LIV circuit, then the PGA Tour was obsolete. So why, just 2 years later, did he walk away from his LIV contract early? When you leave a league before your contract is up, you aren't just changing teams. You are screaming to the world that the grass isn't greener, it's artificial. Reuters reported he left LIV in December 2025. He didn't wait for his deal to expire. He paid to get out. And once you see it that way, the next question everyone jumps to first is this: what did it cost him to get out? First, the $5 million contribution. In any other context, that's a donation. Here, it's a ransom. It's Brooks handing over a portion of his LIV winnings to the very organization he tried to bankrupt. It's a public admission that his freedom wasn't worth the price. Then there is the long bleed. He is barred from the player equity program for 5 years. The tour estimates this will cost him between $50 million to $85 million in potential earnings. Stop thinking of that as a bank balance. Think of it as control. For the next 5 years, Brooks Koepka, a man who prides himself on being the boss, is essentially a second-class citizen on the tour he used to dominate. He will see younger, less accomplished players receiving equity stakes and bonuses that he is legally forbidden from touching. Every time he looks at the leaderboard, he'll know that even if he wins, he's still losing. And then there's the signature events. These are the $20 million limited field tournaments where the tour's elite hang out. Brooks doesn't get an invite. He doesn't get a sponsor's exemption. He has to earn his way in. For a 5-time major champion, being told to earn your way in is a psychological gut punch. It's the tour saying, your past doesn't exist here, you're a rookie again. Because his world golf ranking has plummeted during his time at LIV, he is starting from the bottom of the mountain. He has basically traded the convenience of LIV for the brutality of a tour that wants to see him struggle. But here's the question no one wants to ask. Is he doing this because he loves the tour, or because he's terrified of being forgotten? If you want to know how dangerous this move is, look at the locker room. The reaction from the players who stayed isn't "welcome back." It's "how dare you." Wyndham Clark's reaction was the most telling. He admitted that if you told players they could take the LIV money for 2 years and then just pay a fine to come back, almost everyone would have done it. This is why the returning member program is so dangerous. It's a moral threat to the fabric of the tour. If Brooks succeeds, if he pays his fine, wins a few tournaments, and gets back to world number 1, he hasn't just staged a comeback. He has provided a blueprint for how to cheat the system. The tour knows this. That's why they're framing this as a one-time window. They are trying to pretend this isn't a precedent. But players aren't stupid. They see the door is cracked open. They see that the tour is willing to trade its purity for star power. This wasn't a gesture of forgiveness from the tour. It was a calculated loss. They'd rather have a humbled Brooks Koepka on their TV screens than a triumphant one on a rival network. Now, let's zoom out for a second. The sport is still a mess. The June 2023 framework agreement between the Tour and the Saudi PIF is still a ghost. Nothing is finalized. The peace treaty is just a piece of paper. Rory McIlroy said it best. LIV is losing steam because they aren't signing anyone who moves the needle anymore. And now, their biggest needle mover is paying a ransom to leave. But don't be fooled. This isn't a mass exodus. Jon Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau reportedly passed on this return window. They chose to stay in the LIV era. They chose the money and the lighter schedule over the punishment the PGA Tour is demanding. So, Brooks is on an island. He is the only one willing to admit that the LIV lifestyle wasn't enough. He's the only one willing to say, "My legacy is worth more than my comfort." But at what cost to the sport? The PGA Tour is choosing leverage over its own soul. They are letting a traitor back in because they need the ratings. They are making a mockery of the suspensions they issued 2 years ago. And this is where the unease sets in. This move tells us something darker about the PGA Tour. It tells us that if you are famous enough, the rules are negotiable. If you are elite enough, your betrayal has a price tag. As Brooks tees off at Torrey Pines, the question isn't whether he can still win. The question is, what has the PGA Tour just proven it's willing to do to survive? They didn't just let Brooks back in. If you're